Hi everyone, my name's Elizabeth Foster. I am the founder and director of Connect Coach, and we're here with you today with Eric, who is the most amazing technology digital marketing guru that I have come across. We've got some really fun things in store for you today. Just to fill you in a little bit about Connect Coach and what we do, basically we connect coaches with clients. We work with the best coaches. They are experts in their field, they're qualified, they've had a lot of experience, and we connect them with clients, we connect them with clients. So we go into organizations, we go into small businesses, we connect with individuals that are actually looking for a good quality coach. And so that is what Connect Coach does. So if you're interested in finding out a little bit more or interested in joining our team, then please connect with me afterwards. That'd be great. I am just going to come off presenter mode so that we can talk with Eric. Eric, welcome.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Doing well, yeah.
Great, thank you for joining us today. We've had a couple of conversations about what you do, and it really kind of blows me away, the way that you work with your clients and how you really support them in such a strategic way to grow their business. And I'm really excited to be just having this webinar with you today. So thanks so much for joining in. Actually, in a sentence, and just tell me what you do in a sentence.
Sure. What we do is we help our clients dominate their digital presence.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So today we're talking about Facebook ads specifically, and I know that you work with people on a lot of different mediums, but today we just decided to focus on Facebook ads. So you know, why Facebook? Why is it a good place to advertise, and you know, why does it help businesses grow?
Sure. So Facebook has been around for many years. In fact, I just checked. I've been on Facebook for about a decade at this point, which is mind-boggling to me. It seems like it was just yesterday. But the reason why Facebook is just so good at advertising is because we give up all of our information to Facebook. We tell them what we're into, what we like. We're feeding all of this aggregate data right to Facebook, and we allow them to in turn take that data and anonymously share it with advertisers like you and me.
That sounds cool. So, I mean, Connect Coach, we work specifically with coaches, which are solopreneurs, small businesses, that kind of thing. So how can these small businesses, how can these solopreneurs actually compete against the big companies? I mean, how does that even work?
Sure. You know, I've always said it's difficult for a small company to compete with a large company in terms of, you know, dollars to dollars, but it's all a level playing field with Facebook. Everyone who uses Facebook has the same tools and the same data, essentially. But if you're not coming to bat with these bigger companies or maybe a competitor that's further along down the road than you are, then you're missing out on a great opportunity to take a chunk of the market and to, you know, cash in.
That actually makes so much sense, because you're absolutely right. You know, that the big businesses have their profiles and the individual has their profiles. So it's actually very true. So let's talk about, you know, because I know that some people are really worried about the budget that they put in, and you know, that's like, oh my God, is it going to cost me, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and is it just going to suck all the money out of my account? How does it actually work? I mean, can you set limits?
Absolutely. So Facebook is very conscientious about this. They allow you to set very specific limits within each campaign. You know, it's very simple when it comes to that. They even bill you on a basis how often you're advertising. So if you're advertising a lot, they're not going to give you some huge bill at the end and slam you with it. They're going to go ahead and bill you over time so that you're not getting surprised with a bill. But I mean, you could start doing Facebook ads for $50.
Wow, that's a very reasonable amount. And yeah, it makes sense, because I know that some people, they're worried about that level of, I don't want to get this huge bill, and how can, I'm worried about that. So I love the fact that you can just do it in small increments as you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, $50, is that kind of a starting price? I mean, how much money do I need to start?
Sure. It really depends on what you're trying to do, and we'll cover a little bit more of that, coming up here. But yeah, I mean, Facebook initially started out by allowing us to advertise, but they quickly realized it's daunting. It's very difficult to advertise when you don't know all the back end technical stuff, which is what they provide. So they came up with the boost button, which I'm sure a lot of people out there have used. You boost a post, you boost this. And it's a very cheap and easy way to increase engagement, but it's not an effective long-term strategy. And that's when you need to spend something like $50, $200. Most companies I work with will go in the range of $500 to a couple $1,000s a month.
Okay, well, that's, and I think that's a reasonable amount of money. And certainly if you put it in perspective with what it can cost to advertise, I think it's a very reasonable amount.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm going to ask you a question now, and this might seem a little strange, because obviously what you do is you support people in growing businesses, but this is something that I can kind of do on my own. So why should I come to you?
Sure. It's similar to the fact that we are all very busy entrepreneurs. And I firmly believe that we're good at only a couple things. And when you get into a business, you want to do that one thing that's really good. So say you are a coach and you're great at getting people to the next level in their business or in their life, but you're not necessarily an advertising expert, or you're not necessarily a financial expert. I mean, I pay someone to do my finances because I am by no means an expert. And even if I was an expert, I would still want someone to double check my work. I would want someone to alleviate a lot of the day-to-day operations. And when you run a Facebook ad campaign, you really need to take a look at it. Every day it needs to be monitored and checked, because you can eliminate ads that are not working at all, and then you can highlight the ads and put more money into the ads that are working and making you more money, connecting you with more people. Okay,
this sounds amazing. Okay, let's just go for it, because there are so many questions that I've got, and people, we've got some people that are live with us. So please welcome, and if you have any questions, please pop them in the box, because this is a really good opportunity to ask any kind of questions that you want, and regarding digital advertising, and specifically Facebook, but not exclusively. It is. I'm gonna hand over to you.
All right. Well, good deal. Go ahead and get my stuff ready. Oh, hey, there I am. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a presentation. I'm gonna cover a couple different things on Facebook advertising here. So we're gonna go ahead and do a screen share here. And I hope everyone can see this okay, but let's go ahead and roll forward. So today we're talking about cashing in with Facebook advertising. Now, like I said, this is something I've been doing for many, many years. But there's something that perturbs me. It's that 90% of businesses fail within the first couple of years of starting up. Now, that's not a very good number. And Neil Patel from Forbes interviewed people, and he found out that 42% of the failed businesses cited the fact that they had a lack of market need for their product. Now, that's crazy to figure that out at the end of the process of slaving away, you know, the long hours, the difficult nights, you know, the stress that puts on your family and your friends and your relationships, all to figure out that there was a lack of need for your product or service. I mean, that just baffles me. And the fact that we all have the same tools in terms of Facebook advertising, it baffles me that more businesses don't use Facebook advertising to figure out the need or want for their product. So a little bit about myself. I don't know if everyone on here knows about me, but my name is Eric Sharpe, and I am a serial entrepreneur, a public speaker, and I really enjoy technology. It's been in my lifeblood for many years. My father taught me how to build my first computer, and my mother taught me how to do the marketing side of things. So here you see a photo of me at the top at an event at my good friend Jenna Rodriguez's event. And I won a Rising Star Award on the bottom left corner there. That was in Savannah, and that was a couple years ago. And the bottom right photo is I started up a Savannah chapter for something called Little Bits. And Little Bits goes deeper into what I am passionate about, which is teaching children technology. Now you can see that I've been on the news a couple times here. I was the resident digital doctor for WTOC News for a couple years, and they interviewed me because a lot of people have questions that need to get broken down, and it's tough. It's tough to know everything. You can't know everything about all the technology out there. So here's some of the clients that I've worked with in the past. These are clients I've done Facebook advertising for and online marketing for. And most of these people started out with a very simple budget, and we worked our way up from there. Now this is, you know, going back to what I was talking about, this is really what I'm passionate about is teaching technology, you know, not only to business owners, but to children. This is what it's all about for me. So this is my Savannah chapter of Little Bits. So we teach children technology because I believe that all children are born gifted, and it's our job as adults and to mentor and to show these people how, to show these children how their future can be shaped just by learning new things and problem solving and collaborating, and, you know, literally limitless boundaries for these kids using technology as a tool. And that's what I am passionate about. So today it's all about Facebook ads. That's the deal, and I want to give you all a couple. Well, I'll give you one major fact here. I mean, there's over 1 billion people active monthly on Facebook, and if that doesn't raise an eyebrow to business owners out there, then perhaps this will. The average user spends 40 minutes a day on Facebook. What that means is your users, your prospective customers are out there 40 minutes a day with the potential of looking at your ad. And I've been pitched advertising before. I mean, you know, magazine companies pitch me, and other marketing people, they pitch me for advertising. And if I knew that my client had a chance every day to take a look at my ad for approximately 40 minutes a day, I mean, I would just be paying money hand over fist for something like that. And speaking about our advertising today, so part of the technology jump that some people have to do with Facebook advertising is I suggest you use the Google Chrome browser anytime you're doing Facebook ads. And the main reason is because Google Chrome works really, really well with Facebook advertising. In fact, Facebook created something called the Power Editor, within their advertising campaign software. And the Power Editor isn't necessarily something that you all will use out there, but it's something that I use on a daily and hourly basis for my campaigns. But I really suggest you use Google Chrome as the browser of choice anytime you're doing these ads. So I know a lot of people can feel, I mean, right off the bat, a lot of people feel like diving into advertising online can feel like you're about to go through a maze, this difficult space that you feel like you're in, where you don't know where to start, and you need some help, and you need a guide to bring you through all this. And wouldn't it be great if there was someone who could bring you through the maze of advertising and the technology and everything? And ultimately, that's why I am here for you today. That's what I'm here to help you with. Because don't forget, guys, these people here, these companies, these clients, they all started from zero. I mean, they all started from the ground up. And if they can do it, you can do it. I know it. It all starts from zero, and you work your way up from there, okay? So one of my favorite clients we're going to talk about today, you can see her in the bottom right-hand corner. It's Valerie Hubbard, and she runs the Actors Fast Track. And Valerie is actually a working actress who became a coach because she decided that she wanted to help other actors get gigs. She wants to help her community and her fans get gigs. So I love to share with you all, my top secret campaign that I did for her. I'll show you all the strategy and steps and the unique system that I put together for her that is available for all of you out there. And it all started with a real simple phone call. Now, Valerie is out in California, and I'm over here in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia. And Valerie got in touch with me, and we had a quick 15-minute conversation. We just do a laser strategy call, and I figured out very quickly that she was frustrated with the advertising she had been doing. She didn't know if it was going anywhere. She wasn't really tracking it right. And ultimately what happened is after working with her for about a month or two, we eventually got her to the point where she was getting in leads. She was getting 300 leads for $300. And that equates to $1 per lead. And these are like quality leads that people want to do business with her. People, these actors, these budding actors and actresses who are looking to learn from her, and they became fans of hers. And that cost her $300 of advertising. So I hope you all want to hear about this. So that's what I'm going to tell you about. So the way that I feel advertising is successful is it's all about quality over quantity. And I believe that great ads triumph. That's a part of my unique system. You always want to be refining your ads to let the best ads shine. And that's a big part of my system. So here we have it. We have 3 parts that I'm going to talk about today. And you see it right here. There's the goal, the audience, and testing. And I'm going to start us out with the goals because that's a big deal. Determining what your goal is with your Facebook advertising is important. You need that map to go by so that you know exactly where you start from and then where you want to be. And that's important to start with. So in Facebook, they call this objectives. I call it goals. But here are the objectives that you can do. We have clicks to a website, event responses, lead generation, local awareness, offer claims. You see the rest: page likes, page post engagement. But the one I'm going to talk about predominantly today is going to be the website conversions. Okay. But you can think of these goals and objectives as basically your arsenal. I mean, this is like your gallery of weapons, where you can decide what you want to use in your advertising to go after whomever you're trying to target. And like I said, today we're going to focus on conversions because most advertisers focus on conversions, because what that means is you're taking someone down a funnel. You're taking a prospect, so someone who is browsing around, happens to see an ad, and they fill out a form, or they call a phone number that you have listed. You know, they make some sort of contact. And what they're doing is they're showing interest. And they provide this information, they show this interest and this engagement, and that turns into a lead. I mean, that turns into someone who you legitimately want. And that's what a conversion is. We're converting people from prospects into leads, into clients. And that's why we're going to talk about how, Valerie's conversions today. And ultimately the goal is to, make someone a paying client. So I know that a lot of you out there have probably done the boost post before. Boosting a post is a very cheap and quick way to get an ad out there, but it's not as effective as choosing a conversion. And I think one of the reasons why Valerie had such a successful campaign was because she knew from the get-go that her goal was to increase her conversions. And the whole point was to turn her actors into fans, and then her fans into paying clients. So there's lots of other things she could have done. She could have driven engagement. She could have gotten people to, like her page or comment on a video. But instead, she decided that the most important thing was to collect email addresses and to get information on people who are actively seeking her business. All right. That was the biggest deal. And in order to track conversions on Facebook, you have to do something with a Facebook pixel. Now, this is a piece of code that has to be installed on a website or landing page. And this Facebook pixel is very powerful, and it gives you a lot of options to track someone who has clicked on your ad. You can see lots of different data, and you can actually eventually retarget an advertisement to them. Okay, and this is important. We're going to talk later on about custom audiences and retargeting. But for now, I want you to know that having a Facebook pixel on your website or landing page is very, very important. And once you get that done, it's kind of like, crawling across the sand here. Once you get that code portion done and installed, once you get that done, you're good to go. You can then proceed forward with your campaign. And I thought this image was very much so appropriate for this because, it can be a struggle in the beginning, but let me tell you, once you hit that open ocean, it's amazing. It's a great feeling. So do we have any questions about the goals right now? I'd love to take a quick break here. I see that Barbara did ask a question here. Barbara, I'm going to go ahead and answer this. Let's see. You asked about Facebook boosting versus ads versus promoting your page. That is something I think we'll cover in a little bit, but basically boosting a post, Barbara, is clicking that little button underneath a post on your Facebook page, and you can quickly increase the engagement, and Facebook limits you to the amount of options you have with that. The targeting is not as robust as going back into the, an ad campaign editor. Promoting your page, that will help you get likes. So that's if you're a brand new business and you really just want to get a bunch of people to like your page. I never really suggest that unless you are looking to show off that you're a popular company or you have a popular product or service. Then promoting the page does work. But ultimately, I think, running the ad campaigns is the most important thing here. So, all right. So we're going to move on now to the audience. So the audience is, who are you targeting and why? And I'm sure most of you out there know what a target market is. Most advertisers scream that at the top of their lungs whenever they ask you questions in a meeting. They go, what's your target market? What's your target market? But I want to talk about something that's a little bit more in depth today, and that's called your avatar. And an avatar, unlike a target market, an avatar is a single person. It is in real life people that you are targeting, and these are actual people in Valerie's, campaign that show up to her events. These are people who click on her ads, and they have, these people are single or married. They're living in Los Angeles or New York. They have very specific things. They have a dog. They love to eat Chinese on Wednesday nights. They watch, they go to the movies twice a month. They spend a quarter of their income on travel. They have more than 8 credit cards. I mean, that's how specific I want to see you all with your avatars. And that's important when you go into creating a target audience. So here we have, here we've got Homer Simpson, going from the monkey into Homer Simpson. But, an avatar is very specific. It probably exists already. If you do have a business that has clients already and you have a decent amount of them, chances are there's one specific client that is your avatar. Now, this specific client of yours has a name, they have feelings, and go ahead and reach out to them. Ask them questions, give them a quick survey, figure out who they are. And if they don't exist, and say you have a business that's so brand new or you're changing tactics, then you have to get inside of your head. Well, you have to get inside of the head of your avatar no matter what. But if they don't exist, you have to create them and then get inside their head. And you go really deep with avatars. We end up figuring out so many different things with avatars anytime we're doing a strategy session. And that's the most important thing with doing an audience, is figuring that out. Yeah, I know, Ted. It's a great image of Homer. One of my favorites for sure. So here are the different things that Facebook allows with their advertising in terms of the audience. So we have our location, the age and gender, additional demographics, more demographics, the interests, behaviors, connections, and then custom audiences. And some of them may not be apparent right now, but I'm going to walk you through all of those right here and right now. So locations, these are the available options whenever you're targeting someone's location. You can go after their country, their city, their zip code. You can even do a radius based around a specific address, voting district. That's something that is, of course, being used right now because everyone's out there voting. And on the other side of the spectrum, we have the fact that you can target everyone within these areas. You can target people that live there. You can target people who were recently there or people who are traveling there. And think how powerful that is if you own a business that is based on tourism and you can start to advertise to people who are traveling to your location before they even arrive. You can have an ad that shows up to them. And this is all based on the fact that we are telling Facebook what we are doing. We are telling Facebook that we are traveling on a plane from Atlanta to New York. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to start to receive ads for restaurants in New York, things to do in New York, because those smart advertisers thought, hey, let's go ahead and capture Eric before he even lifts off the ground on the plane. And this is an example of the back end for the locations. And I'm just showing here, this is something we use for Valerie. So we were targeting Los Angeles, California, and New York. And you can choose a radius from 10 to 50 miles. And you can choose to include cities within that radius, or you can only choose to include the city. Some cities are very large. They're more than 10 miles. So Facebook allows you to make all of these adjustments. All right, so here we are, age and gender. This is a pretty simple one, so we can kind of motor through it. But there's one thing I want to highlight. So Facebook allows you to target anyone ages 13 to 65 and up, of course. Facebook apparently does not allow you to target anyone above the age of 65. You can't get within that range. And you can target males and females or all of them combined. You can do everyone. And this is an interesting one here, is birthday targeting. You can target people that have birthdays coming up. And that might be good for someone who does birthday cakes, people who do things around birthday times. You could even do a special that shows up for their birthday. Maybe give someone half off coupon to a restaurant, or, restaurants try to entice people to have their birthday parties, in a certain location. So that's some very powerful things that you can do with the age and gender. And this is what it looks like in the back end here. I went ahead and just threw some of these in here real quick. But yeah. Okay, so click forward here. Okay, there we go. More demographics. So more demographics, this drills down, and we're starting to get into the nitty gritty, and you definitely want to take some notes here if you haven't been already, because more demographics, you can dive very deep into the education, ethnicity, financial, the generation. You can tap into baby boomers, you can tap into millennials. You can find out, what people are doing, their relationships, their political affinities, their parents, life events. Life events is a very big one. You can tap into people who are engaged, people who just got into a relationship, people who just got married. I remember I had a client who was selling insurance, and he wanted to know how he could tap into clients that were that had enough money, who were going to be buying a home soon. And it's so powerful to be able to find people that are just jumping into marriage or being engaged. I mean, they'll start seeing ads for engagement rings and bachelorette parties and, places to host their wedding. And so it's all very powerful, especially with the life events. So my client in the insurance business, after talking with him on a strategy call, we figured out that he wanted to target people who were recently married, or they had children, ages, newborns all the way up to 5-year-olds, because he wanted to sell them insurance on their home. And he wanted a long-term relationship with them, because by the time people are married and have kids, and the kids are teenagers, I mean, they probably are already dealing with an insurance agent by then. So he wanted to get in a little bit early. So that's why we chose that life event of someone who was recently married and someone who had recently bought a home. Here's what it looks like on the back end of Facebook. So you have all these options, and really take a look at this. This could go on and on and on. I could have a whole separate webinar in this one alone on demographics, but for time purposes, we'll carry on here. So interests are basically, what are people interested in? What kind of business do they do? What's their, health like? What kind of food and drink do they like? What's their family relationship? Interests are important because you can find out what people are into like that. So Valerie Hubbard's example for you, we chose people who were either in a relationship and unemployed, because some actors and actresses are unemployed, of course, or they were employed but they were waiters and waitresses. I mean, we've all kind of heard that stereotype, but a lot of that is true. Someone who's employed in the retail industry or in the food industry, who is in a relationship, who lives in Los Angeles, is very likely to be attracted to learning more about becoming an actor. And that's why our ad had so much success. And this is what it looks like in the back end. And Facebook actually gives you a great number of the people. So we looked at people who like performing arts and acting for Valerie. And you can see right here that, 142 million people are interested in performing arts. And that's great, because then when you target Los Angeles specifically, you start to whittle down the campaign to only get that specific group of people. So I see a quick question here from Kathy. Let's see. Does the amount of targeting affect the way the advertising is priced? So no, that's ultimately the answer to that. You can target as much as you want. I've done ad campaigns that targeted 1,000 people. I chose a zip code and a relationship status, and someone who had income above $85,000, and I got 1,000 people, and it cost me the same amount of money. So hopefully that answers that for you, Kathy. Right. So we have behaviors. Behaviors are how people act. It's how people are behaving. So here we have all these different things that Facebook provides to us here. And you can see a lot of interesting ones here, like expats, digital activities, residential profile, purchase behaviors. And one of my favorites is purchase behavior. Now you can find out how people purchase things. Now, some of this data is provided by Nielsen, because Facebook doesn't have all the answers to this. So they actually use data aggregates, a bunch of different data aggregates to find that out here. So, and we got a question from Miriam here. Should you try a few different profiles for the same ads, or try ads with one profile? That's a great question, Miriam. I think we're actually going to cover that in the testing section, but that's a great question. So I promise to cover that in the testing section. So the behaviors, I try to stay, I try not to pick too many behaviors here, because unless you really know your behaviors of your audience, either through a really good avatar, or it's better to have good analytics. Using something like Google Analytics, you can actually find out the demographics and behaviors of people who visit your website or landing page. And if you use that data and then reverse engineer it, you can target those people with Facebook advertising. So it's kind of one of my brilliant secrets that I've done over the years. And here's what behaviors look like in the back here. So, I mean, we can target people who like adventure shows, animal shows. I mean, this gets down into the nitty gritty. I mean, you can really target, I mean, just an incredible amount of behaviors. But like I said, it's best to keep it simple here. I wouldn't go too crazy if I were you. Okay. Connections. This one is a little baffling at first, but I'll explain it for you. Connections, what we have with Facebook, you can do these choices. So anyone who likes your page is a connection. You can target friends of people who like your page. That's one of my favorites to do if you're just trying to expand locally within a region. You can actually exclude people who like your page. So if you're really just trying to target brand new people and you don't want someone who already is a fan of yours to click an ad and cost you money, you can exclude people who like your page. And you can advertise to people who responded to an event. So say you're hosting some event. I know that my own mother loves to host events, and she would definitely use something like this. And for anyone who does have an app out there, you can get someone who's interacted with your app before. Not many of you have apps out there, but in case you do, this is for you. And this is what the connections look like in the back end there. And you can do advanced combinations as well with this, but most people stick with pretty simple combinations here. All right, checking on my time. We still got plenty of time left. Perfect. So our last thing here is custom audiences. Custom audiences is this I could do, once again, a whole other webinar on custom audiences. And that's something that I'm going to answer. Kathy, I'm going to answer your question right now about a custom audience. So a custom audience is a couple different things here. You can target a list of customers based on email addresses or phone numbers. And this is only if the email address pertains to one that's being used on Facebook. So if you have a list of 1,000 people, you may find that only a couple hundred actually match up in this custom audience. And same thing with the phone number. And this is for anyone who's been doing a lot of lead generation, or say you have a bunch of business cards and you want to load them into this custom audience. You can do that. You can do that with Facebook and advertise to the people that you met using just their email address. So it's a pretty powerful thing. This is one of the most important things that Facebook came out with in the past couple of years, is the ability to advertise to that custom audience. And Kathy, this I believe answers your question here, is website traffic. So by installing that Facebook pixel, you can track and retarget people who have gone to your website. So say you have someone who visited your website within the last 30 days, but they didn't sign up for anything and they didn't click on the link that you wanted them to, you can continue to advertise to them. And this is extremely powerful because retargeting ads are more effective because someone is already aware of your brand. They already know about you. So that's a really, really powerful thing. And then we have lookalike audiences. And lookalike audiences are very interesting. Lookalike audiences allow you to take a small set of individuals. So you have to have a minimum of 100 valid email addresses. I suggest try to get it in the hundreds, if not thousands. For some of my bigger clients, they have thousands of email addresses. But if you have 100 people that have bought a product or a service from you, and you know that they're big fans of yours, they're engaged, you can duplicate who they are within Facebook. And let me say that again. You can take a small group of people and blow that up into the millions. So you have a bunch of people who have bought, let's say they, for Valerie's sake, these are actors. So these actors signed up to receive her email, and then they proceeded to sign up for something else. And that way I knew that these people, they were like gung-ho, ready to do business with her. We knew that they were following her, reading her emails, all that kind of stuff. It was a big, big deal. Well, we took that list of people and we created a lookalike audience. And Facebook went out and tried to match all the similarities and the trends within that tight-knit group of people and turn it into a much broader target audience. And we ended up advertising to about 1 million people that were hyper targeted to what Valerie was trying to do. And that's why we were able to get 300 leads for $300. And once again, you have to have that retargeting pixel on your website or landing page. I can't stress that enough. Custom audiences don't work really well without this. So you want to be, conversion tracking doesn't work well without this. So everything I've been talking about, converting clients from prospects into leads, you have to have this retargeting pixel installed. So here we are. We're on the last module here, and quite possibly one of my favorite ones is testing. So I do want to stop and see if anyone has any questions in the room right now. If anyone does, feel free to chat them away. But if not, then I will proceed on. So, all right. So testing. Of course, one of my favorite things. Why is that? Because you get to screw things up. You get to play around. You get to be creative with your ads. Now, some of you may think testing looks a little bit like this, and that's actually what it looks like when we end up doing the testing. But when you do the testing, it can be a little bit more simple. This is just an example of a test that we did for Valerie Hubbard. We had one landing page that had one background and another one that had another, or we changed the text in here, I'm saying, yeah, at least in this one. You can change very minute things and find out what works better. So here's an example of an ad that we did for Valerie. We have test A and test B. And on the left, you can see it's basically the same. And I have the same headline. All the text is the same, but the one on the left is a video. The one on the right is a video, but it had a different intro to the video. And test A gave us these results. And I can pop back here real quick. You can see on the bottom, on any ad, you can see the comments and the shares and everything. And I broke that data out for us here. But test A ended up, I thought it was a pretty good ad, but test B was so much better. Now, why was that? Why did we get more conversions with test B? And it ended up reaching more people. It cost us less money to run the ad. It was shared more. There were more comments. I mean, this was a phenomenal test. But why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the video that Valerie did, that test A, was just a straight video. I mean, it was well shot, but it was just Valerie right off the bat starting to talk to you. And, people shared it and they liked it and she got views. But the one on the right, the video on the right, the intro that she did was this, as you can see her crazy face there. She lit off firecrackers in, I think it was like her backyard or like in this like alleyway. She lights these firecrackers off, and it ended up being like a mini viral video for her fans because they saw her being a little bit more of who she is, goofy, fun-loving, outgoing. And that ad ended up crushing it when it came to all of this. So I do have a question here from Michael. Yeah, I'm more than happy to answer that. So you're asking, is it better to use an image or a video for an ad? Michael, I can tell you that statistically speaking, it's better to use a video. Video is more likely to show up on Facebook. It's more likely to be shared. All the statistics are there over and over and over. That video just converts better. That's why we're doing video right now, because if I was just talking to you, then it wouldn't be as much fun. Well, technically I did have video earlier, but video ads definitely work better. And I highly, highly suggest that. Now, I can't, if you do a really bad video and you screw stuff up, who knows what'll happen. But, the key is just to throw it out there. Just have some fun, test it. Try one video outdoors, one video indoors. Try one video with a blue shirt, one video with a green shirt. Find out what works. Find out what people are responding to. Because if you don't know, then you don't know what's working. There was a famous quote back in the day, an advertising quote. And the man said, I forget his name right now, but the man said that, half my money is wasted on advertising. The problem is I don't know which half. And nowadays we know which half is wasted. So Facebook advertising, actually, if you run a test, so say we ran a test, we have a control and then we do a variation test, Facebook will they kind of automatically will promote the ad that is more related to the landing page. So if your text that you're using on your ad is very relatable to the landing page, then Facebook is more likely to show that ad, and it's more likely to be seen and viewed and clicked. Because, Facebook is in this to get your ad clicked on. Every time your ad is engaged with, whether someone likes it, they share it, they comment on it, or they click on it, it costs money. But by doing conversion-based ads, you don't pay as much until they actually convert, till they get to that point where they have given you information. They provided their name or their email, their phone number, their address, and that is the goal of this campaign. And that's what we did for Valerie Hubbard. So that's it, guys. This is, this is the whole point of my system. Great ads triumph because when you pick a solid goal and you stick to it, you have that conversion goal, you stick to it. I want to convert 20 people, over the next week. That's my goal. And you pick your audience, you have your avatar. It's a very specific person that you have either imagined up or is a real live person who's a client of yours or a prospect for that matter. And go ahead and test things out. Make as many logical changes to your ad as you want. We usually end up doing anywhere from 8 to 16 tests with our initial ad campaigns. And that's really the way to start things out. So yeah, I think we're going to have some time for some last minute questions here. And then I'll show you guys a little bit more information, but does anyone have any last minute questions here? I know we're getting close to the end of our rope here for the webinar.
It doesn't look like anyone's got any last minute questions at the moment. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Okay. So Miriam is asking, is Facebook advertising more effective for B2C or B2B? That's a great question. I think it's split between B2B and B2C. I think the market is starting to get saturated with B2C on Facebook. Business to consumer is really starting to get saturated, but there's still just so much room. I was working with a small restaurant in Savannah, and I was targeting a 1 to 2 mile radius of people visiting Savannah, and the campaign ended up not doing as well as I thought, because really what we wanted was to get more repeat customers, but they were just dying to get some new customers in as soon as possible. So I try to get people who are traveling, because they were losing business to, their repeat business was moving to another restaurant. So I was trying to find new customers that would come in. And it's tough. It can be a saturated market, but the B2B market, I think you're going to find more advertising done on LinkedIn for a lot more B2B advertising. Business to consumer advertising is also switched over into Pinterest and Instagram. You're seeing more of that nowadays. So I think, yeah, B2C has been saturated in Facebook, and it's moved on to some of these other social media platforms that are more specific to people's wants and needs. All right, so Michael, you've got a question here. Can a lead page strategy make or break a campaign? I mean, I'd love to get a little bit more specific with you on that, Michael. Let's see here. So can lead page strategy make or break? You know, yes, it depends on what the strategy is. I'm all about keeping it simple. That's really what it comes down to for me. I don't like to overcomplicate things unless we have to, unless there's some gargantuan master plan that you have. But I mean, look, Valerie's master plan out of all this is to get actors to sign up and to pay her money to attend her classes and ultimately hire her as a private coach. But she knows full well that she cannot take on 80 clients as private coaching. She knows that she can only take a handful of them at the moment. So her master plan is, yeah, she'd like to grow it so that she can take on, 100 or 80 different private clients. But right now, for 2016, she's growing her list. She's having more live events. So, that's her strategy. So just, pick a strategy for you that doesn't break the bank, but also makes you a little uncomfortable. I mean, you want to do something that's outside of your realm. And okay, Marilyn, got a question here. This all looks good on paper, but in your experience, you don't think it works in practice. So GM stopped advertising on Facebook because it concluded that wasn't effective. Of all of your clients, was a maximum percentage increase in sales or profits within 3 months the campaign started. Sure, Marilyn. I mean, personally, I increased my own. I ran an IT company in Savannah, Georgia, and it recently was acquired by a larger IT firm that I continue to work with here. It's Halsky, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And my IT company in Savannah, we increased our profits about 30% thanks to Facebook advertising. And part of that reason was because of the social aspect. I mean, I was sharing very simple ads, which were like testimonials for our computer repair service. So that is one example. Yes, there are larger corporations are finding it more difficult. And I think that's because I hate to say it, but I think they have crappy strategies. I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You need to play the game. I don't think GM should have left Facebook, but I definitely think that they should continue to use Facebook, at least with trying to get the low-hanging fruit. There are plenty of ways out there to use Facebook and advertising to promote your business, and it can be as simple as testimonials. If you have one client, your business is so new, and you have one client that all you have is one testimonial, tout that. Then put that up on Facebook and put that in the ad. Have that person touting what you do. GM could easily take the people that love their cars and do a quick video of those people loving their cars. And the problem is there's a lot of interconnectivity, and the sale of a car is not a quick purchase. No one's going to click on an ad for GM and then jump out of their seat and go buy a GM. It's just not going to happen. And I think they understand that now is, for a company like GM, Facebook advertising, the lifetime client cost, to acquire the client is high when you think about all the ads you need to put in front of their faces. So I hope that answers your question, Marilyn. I mean, I understand why GM probably doesn't like Facebook advertising because it ended up costing them so much money. I hate to say it, but I think it comes down to also the product. If your product is not good, you shouldn't tout it. And it's nothing against GM, but you need to tout the quality of your product or your service. And if you keep pumping out mid-level stuff that doesn't win awards, it's tough to advertise that and to gain traction. All right. Anything else here? I think we're about to hit. We're coming close up to our stopping time. So I mean, I do want to, Elizabeth. Am I able to offer them something here?
Yeah, absolutely. Please go ahead. I'd love you to offer them something, and I think it's well, you start with your offer. We'll wrap up.
Sure. Well, look, I appreciate everyone being on here and listening to me. Most of my friends know that I hate talking. No, I'm just kidding. I love talking about this. It's my lifeblood, and I've been doing this for the past 10 years. And teaching technology, to business owners and children has been a big part of my life. So I do want to give everyone something for free today. A complimentary checklist that's going to help everyone out on their next webinar. I tell you what, I'm going to give you guys my toolkit. So I'll give you guys two things. I'm going to give you a toolkit that's going to show you all the tools that I use. We're actually finalizing the toolkit right now. That's still in production, but I'll go ahead and give you my webinar ready checklist. You guys can find that out. I'll go ahead and post. I think we're going to post a link to that here, but let's see. So that's a link that you can grab my webinar checklist. And the first 3 people to email me, I'm going to go ahead and give you. I'm going to give you 15 minutes of my time. I'd love to hear about what you're up to and what kind of work that you're doing. And I'd love to help you with your strategy. Using my Great Ads Triumph system, I think that I can help you along with your Facebook ad campaign, and use it, because time is valuable. And I think this is something that everyone out there could use. And last but not least, I've got a Facebook group out there to help really busy entrepreneurs with anything technical. If you have any questions, we're agnostic when it comes to the technology, the software and services that we provide. So feel free to join up the Facebook group there. And we'd love to have you there and support you. All right.
Eric, thank you. I learned so much. I mean, just the way to use Facebook ads, the way to really, actually that simple thing, like using a testimonial letter, it makes a lot of sense to do that. I mean, it's just very, very simple, and it's very easy. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad everyone was able to ask some questions, and if anyone does want to learn a little bit more, feel free to connect with me. I look forward to hearing from you.
And I'd highly recommend. Eric, you and I, we've had conversations, and the information that you've given me has just been really useful. And you're definitely going to be one of my resources for Connect Coach. So,
great.
And thanks for taking the time and hanging out with us today. It's been great.
Sure thing.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for coming and joining us. And we look forward to talking with you soon. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.